In less than 12 hours, the federal government could run out of money. Congressional leaders and President Trump failed to reach a deal after meeting at the White House yesterday. A government shutdown could lead to the furlough and firings of large numbers of federal workers. Nicole Killian joins us with the very latest.
Come midnight, the federal government is poised to shut down.
I think we're headed to a shutdown because the Democrats won't do the right thing.
The vice president and congressional leaders emerged from a brief closed-door meeting with President Trump Monday without an agreement in hand.
For the first time, the president heard our objections and heard why we needed a bipartisan bill.
Republicans have proposed a short-term bill to fund the government through mid-November. The measure passed the House this month.
If the Democrats make the decision to shut the government down, the consequences are on them.
But Democrats say any deal must address health care, including an extension of subsidies under the Affordable Care Act to prevent a premium hike at the end of the year.
Are you open to compromise?
We've said from the beginning that we're willing to find a bipartisan path forward, and our line in the sand is the bill has to help everyday Americans, not hurt everyday Americans.
Across from the Capitol, some federal workers are bracing for impact as the White House has asked agencies to consider more mass layoffs for programs that don't align with the president's priorities if a shutdown occurs.
They've been threatening us since day one and carrying it out. And I think all of us have come to terms with the fact that we might be fired at any time and for any reason.
Jamie Billard's husband is in the Coast Guard and, like many service members, won't be paid until a deal is done.
It's another ask for military families to try to navigate. There's a possibility that your member's not going to get a paycheck for the second half of the month. So it's another plate that you have to keep spinning.
A new economic analysis estimates that the shutdown could cost the American economy about $7 billion a week. Here locally, Warner Robins could feel the effects of a federal government shutdown as early as tomorrow, some people tell us. And these effects could reach far beyond the base's gates. Robins Air Force Base contributes more than $4 billion to Georgia's economy and employs over 22,000 people. The shutdown could impact people like Sarah Hoselton, who manages a restaurant across the street from the base.
Of course it's a concern, but I think all the trials and tribulations that we have been through, we've always overcome. I feel like if it was to happen, that we will get through it just like we have everything else.
This morning, Robins Air Force Base released a statement saying that they're preparing for a shutdown in the event that it happens. If there is a shutdown, non-essential civilians will be furloughed. Military personnel will still have to work, but without pay until Congress reaches a deal. They're also guaranteed back pay after a shutdown ends, but the timing of paychecks for civilian workers depends on when that funding agreement is reached. The shutdown could also impact air travel depending on how long it lasts. The FAA and TSA both define most of their employees as essential, so they do have to work even in the event of a shutdown. That means people like airport screeners and air traffic controllers will have to show up to work. They just won't get a paycheck. Now, if a shutdown lasts too long, though, then things could change. In the 34-day shutdown that happened in December of 2018, you may remember 10% of TSA workers called in sick, which then drove up screening times around the country. TSA wouldn't be the only service that's impacted, though. The Food and Drug Administration may stop inspections. Some government programs, including SNAP, also known as food stamps, could also eventually run out. So could the WIC program for women, infants, and children, but the Internal Revenue Service will remain open. Social Security checks will go out, and FEMA forecasters will still be on the job.